Guitar Expo here in Canberra sprang out of my realisation that there were an awful lot of guitars in Canberra. It's a town with a lot of guitar players, like myself, and I thought it'd be great at least once a year to bring them together with a focus on old and vintage guitars, which are the ones that we all know and love from the 60s and 70s and even some of the earlier ones. Vintage Roadshow, we call it, aspect is really good because people love to be able to bring their guitars in and talk to us about what they've got, and we can give them an idea of what the guitar is, when it was made, and an indication of its value, which we're happy to do. And also sometimes some advice about repairs or looking after the guitar. If you talk to one of our guitar maker friends over here, they'd be able to make you one to fit. And you could say, well, do I want cream or do I want tortoiseshell? Probably it was cream originally. And yeah, it's a really nice old Maton. These are increasingly, not outside of Australia, but in Australia increasingly being collected by players and collectors. One similar to this went on eBay very recently for close to $2,000.
Oh wow! We've got a whole range of vintage guitars here. Instruments like this, which predate World War II, I would call vintage guitars. The Stella here predate the Nationals. This is the guitar that wasn't loud enough for Hawaiian music, so they invented that guitar. Some of these early parlour guitars, they call them parlour guitars because they were played in the parlours. And it all, once again, gradually became evolutionary until you got the electric guitar.
This is a 1954 Stratocaster. This is my pride and joy. After 36 years of collecting guitars, I've managed to pick up one of these in this condition. I've had about probably 5 in the last 30 years of collecting. The first 300 were handmade. These became a bit of a production model straight after that, but this is in the best condition I've ever seen for a 54 Strat in the business. This guitar's worth, at the moment, probably between $250,000 and $300,000.
I specialise in guitars from the 1920s to the 1970s. So here we have, for example, a little 1920s Stella, a guitar made by the Oscar Schmidt Company in New Jersey in the USA. Same era that Huddy Ledbetter was using a guitar like that. Through to things like this, which are another American 1930s Hawaiian style guitar. Here we have a Japanese-made copy of a Gretsch from the 60s, a really wild thing. It sort of looks like a Buick without wheels. And other guitars, this one's nice. It's a 1961 Chicago-made K, sort of a cheaper sort of guitar, but which would have been used by the blues guys in Chicago in that era. And they have that sound. That's the thing, we search for the sound.
Okay, this is a 1967 White Falcon. It's got the tremolo arm off it. It's got the two dampers that you can actually move up and down to dampen the strings to get all that Chet Atkins muted tones. We've got one on either side there, moving up and down. We've got the leather cover on the back to be able to get inside to do all the electronics. Now, this is a pretty amazing guitar because I've had this guitar, I bought this guitar for $6,000 probably about 20 years ago, and it was very expensive then. I've had it in Italy and making about $300 a week just in film clips.
My name is Ray Bakita. I got a little company, Ray Bakita Guitars. Through the experience of repairing guitars, then I got into building the guitars and improving on the things that I've seen through the years. This is a Queensland maple for the back. It's got quite a nice figure in it. And for the necks I use American maple, bird's eye maple and quilted figured maples.
This is a 1957 Cadillac Green Gretsch, and this was actually picked up from Gary Beers from NXS.
Put a few little guitars there and it's grown from there, and now I've got a sort of a network of collectors around Australia and internationally. It's great.